You know, for instance, the new member countries of the European Union, of the Middle Europe region, Bulgaria, Poland, Slovakia and so on, they have made a lot of work. They achieved a lot of success during the last decade. And this is important. We integrated. It was a historical opportunity to seize, to integrate these economies in the bigger European economy. And we are quite successful in that work. Of course, they still have to adapt. Their productivity is not the same.
No, I understand you want to look at the positive side of the ledger, but the negative side surely is more powerful. While you have Germany today growing in the last quarter at 2.2% or more, just for one quarter, you've got Greece, which is contracting by almost the same amount. You've got Ireland, Spain, Portugal struggling with the most massive deficit problems and finding it very expensive to borrow money, when the Germans find it much cheaper to borrow money. So the way the eurozone works at the moment perpetuates the difference between countries.
This proves the fact that we have to strengthen our tools to harmonize the economic policies.
Or it proves that the eurozone is fundamentally flawed and cannot, in its current form, survive.
But European integration is a dynamic process. And we are going towards more integration, more harmonization, but respecting also the national sovereignty of the member states. But once again, when you have an economic union, and for the other countries when you have a eurozone, a common currency, well, you have to take the consequences. That means that if you want this, for instance, this eurozone to last, you have to adapt your economic policy to what is applicable in other countries.
Strikes me that you're in a very weak position to make that case when you sit in a country, Belgium, where the northern part of your population, the Flemish-speaking part of the population, no longer is prepared to subsidise the southern, poorer Walloon part of your population. I mean, Belgium in microcosm has many of the problems the European Union has.
That's a little bit of a slogan approach. I mean, there is a problem of diversity and economic results and competitiveness between the economy in Flanders and the economy in Brussels and in the Walloon part of the country. And it is right that there is a debate.
Bit of a problem is tearing a country apart.
I don't know. I don't think it's about tearing a country apart. It's about giving more powers to the regions and communities to find tailor-made solutions for their problems. You're talking about economy. I give another example. The aging of the population, which is much more important in the Flemish part of the country than in Brussels and in the Walloon part of the country. So the idea is to give the powers to Flanders to invest more in all kinds of policies which are meant to encounter this problem of aging of the population. But you know, since 1970 in Belgium, we went through 5 very important state reforms. The whole of the question is now to have this 6th reform, and financial responsibility for the communities and the regions. And on the other hand, giving more power to the regions and communities to adapt a policy to the real needs of the citizens in these communities and regions. That's at stake now.
You're trying, I think, Prime Minister, if I may say so, to neutralise the real anguish that Belgium is going through. But it does seem to me there is a comparison with the broader European Union picture. We have heard many Germans say they are fed up with, as they see it, subsidising Greeks who aren't prepared to work as hard as Germans do. Inside Belgium, we hear many Flemish people saying they are fed up in just the same way about subsidising Walloons. And you, it has to be said, in the past, have exacerbated that tension. You've talked about Walloons being, and I'm quoting your words, too lazy or lacking the intellectual capacity to learn the Flemish language.
That's the language aspect of the problem.
But it smacks of a lack of respect for the other community's willingness to work hard, to do the right thing.
No, that was about languages.
No, I understand that, but you were saying that they were lazy. They weren't prepared to learn the language because they were lazy.
I said there is a problem. They don't speak French enough, even politicians at that moment. And so it's or the fact that they don't want to, or the fact that they can't speak the other language. But this is different it's not related to the economic situation.
But you created a feeling, and I guess it's why, frankly, you're not a very popular politician amongst Walloons. You created a feeling that you had a certain lack of respect for their community and their way of doing things.
It's not a lack of respect.
Do you regret the words you used? Oh, you also talked about Belgium being an accident of history. You said the only thing that Belgians had in common was the king, the national football team, and beer.
No, Belgium is one of the 27 member states of the European Union, is a country, and where we have three communities and 3 regions with their differences, with their common interests. And the whole of the question is now if we find a compromise and if we can put through this necessary 6th reform of the state.
It just strikes me that when we talk about what's happening in Belgium, we're talking a lot about identity politics, the way people identify themselves, whether it be with a particular culture and community or whether it be with a nation state. It raises important questions, again, for the wider EU, about enlargement, about the impact immigration is having on the identity of EU member states. Are you worried about the way that area of debate is going?
Well, let's face facts. I mean, there was a Stockholm program which was adopted about European citizenship in Stockholm, that's why they call it the Stockholm program. I think it is very important that when you have free movement of people and you have open economies, that you try to find common rules, common even rules and directives and so on that govern the movement also of people coming from outside European Union.